Welcome to the fourth and final part of our series where we are commemorating Military Appreciation Month here at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Today we're going to talk about African American Medal of Honor recipients, and you are in the Medal of Honor lens at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. We have one iconic artifact in this lens, which is a Medal of Honor. So when people come into the museum, they can see what the current Medal of Honor looks like. And of course, we have our lens, which looks out over the Washington Monument and into Arlington National Cemetery. In this particular aspect of the gallery, we discuss all 89 African Americans who have been awarded 90 Medals of Honor. In a chronological fashion, we talk about the 26 African Americans who were awarded Medals of Honor during the American Civil War, 18 who were awarded Medals of Honor on the Western frontier. 4 of those 18 were Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. We also discuss the 8 African Americans who were awarded non-combat Medals of Honor. On this side of the lens, we begin to talk about the Spanish-American War. There were 6 African Americans who were awarded Medals of Honor during the Spanish-American War, 2 during World War I, 7 during World War II, also 2 who were awarded Medals of Honor during the Korean War, which is actually the artifact that we have here belonging to Cornelius Charlton, and then the African Americans who were awarded Medals of Honor during Vietnam. When we come into the wars of American expansion, the Buffalo Soldiers, it is often noted that Buffalo Soldiers were awarded 18 Medals of Honor. But interestingly, if you look closely, you'll notice that 4 of those 18 Medals of Honor were awarded to Seminole Negro Indian Scouts, such as Pompey Factor. And that is significant because in the Army Reorganization Act of 1866, which establishes numbers for African Americans to be a part of the regular Army, there is also a clause which says that Native Americans or Indians can be inducted into the Army, and the descendants of those African Americans who went south into Florida to flee slavery and join with the Seminoles during the First, Second, and Third Seminole Wars also became Seminole Negro Indian Scouts on the Western frontier, and some of those were awarded Medals of Honor. The non-combat Medals of Honor were awarded largely, and in fact all of those, to individuals who were in the Navy. And most of those individuals received Medals of Honor as we continue across for diving into the water and saving their fellow comrades. And this is interesting because Robert Augusta Sweeney is one of several, I think there are 18, 19, or 20 Americans who have received 2 Medals of Honor. He was awarded 2 Medals of Honor. And that tells a story in itself because the criteria for the Medal of Honor changed at least 2 times in its history. Prior to World War I, the Medal of Honor was the only medal for valor. We have several different types of medals in the military. For valor, for merit, those are decorations. You also have medals for service. This was the only medal for valor until the crosses and the Silver Star were established around World War I. The Distinguished Service Cross for the Army, established in 1918. The Navy Cross for the Navy, also given to Marines, established in 1919. And of course, the Air Force Cross will come around in 1960. So the Medal of Honor criteria changes in World War I, and this is an award which is representative of why that change occurred.